كيف لحد الآن ما حد دخل؟
لسه ما في. رسل قد هيثم.
عفوا انا مسوي ميوت في اليوتيوب 3 يتفرج.
لسه ما في.
طيب ارسل لهم تاكيد.
ارسل اكد يا هيثم. لسه ما في.
تمام.
ايش الرابط هذا الذي هو حق اليوتيوب؟
هذا الذي بنفعل الستريمينج.
ايوه الستريمينج، ممكن ترسل لي الرابط للتليجرام.
طيب تمام. طيب تمام. خلاص نبدأ. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. ISS-Yemen is welcoming you all, and we are glad to present you to our course with the special guest Abdullah Sharaf, who graduated from School of Biomedical Engineering in UTM, and he is also a junior researcher at PEMS, and also he worked at Cairo UTM. So let's get started. Okay, go ahead, Abdullah.
Hello everyone, and good evening for every one of you, and I'm glad to have you all here. And today we will start directly to design and work with the interface of SolidWorks. I hope everyone is here, or we can have some times until the rest coming. We only have 6 participants. Aitam, shall we wait or get started?
It's okay, we can wait. For example, 2 or 3 minutes, no problem.
Okay. Okay, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. If there's anything, or if you have any issues regarding the connection, please let us know. So, as a beginning, we will talk about SolidWorks in general, and I will try to explain briefly about the basic interface of the SolidWorks. At the beginning, to know what is SolidWorks. SolidWorks is a modeling or computer assisted design software, or maybe sometimes they call it computer aided design software. These softwares allow the engineers to model and to make a 3D modelings of their devices, or exploring their ideas in terms of 3D designs, or making an object to demonstrate their ideas. So when we talk about SolidWorks, we are talking about one of the most preferable software in the market, besides Autodesk and other kind of softwares, which are not commonly used in this part of this world. Usually, some of these softwares are used are to be used in Europe or China. The most important one is SolidWorks, and it's widely worldwide used for most of the engineers. So as we can come here, we can find that this is the icon for the SolidWorks, and SolidWorks mainly is provided by the university for their students, and for some countries they can get uh, the cracked version. If that's okay for you, I'm not sure about this, but it's for learning. But if you are looking for a totally free software for students, I recommend you to start with Autodesk. So when we open the software, the SolidWorks, we will get this page. This is called the home page. Here we will start with uh, navigating through our project, but now I don't have any project. At this side of the screen, I can find the solid work resources. I can find some kind of design library. This library will allow me to use some kind of built-in designs that's already been designed and stored in the library of the software. Other things, we can deal with the view. and I will explain what's the meaning of view of an object. And after that, we will go through the appearances, the environment of the object that we will design. So when we go to start, first we will go either to here, to this icon, which is called new, or from file, new. And this will allow me to start a new project in SolidWorks. As we can see here, when I start a new project in SolidWorks, I will have three different choices. These choices are mainly for engineers to do parts of their task within one project. So I will start as an engineer to design the parts. But if I'm working within a team and most of the parts or all or most of the parts are already designed, I will go for assembly. What I mean by assembly, I will design a screw and I'll strike bolts. Maybe some of my colleagues inside the company will design a tire or a wheel, something like that. And after that, I will put them together and I will make connections or joints between these uh, objects to come up with a whole device or a whole machine that will be used for the demonstration. So this is the assembly. For drawing, this is the third part of the designs, which is 2D design. And the most important thing about this kind of layout or this kind of documents is that these are the documents that will be sent to the manufacturers. So when I complete the design and the assembly and the managers or the company decided to work in this project, these parts will be converted to 2D drawings, and these 2D drawings will contain a lot of informations like the dimensions of the object, the materials, the type of holes and thicknesses of each part. And these parts will be sent directly to the manufacturer to be produced before assembling the real object. So for this lecture and for today's lecture, we will go to the part. And by double click, I will open the main, I can say the main window or the main navigating window of the SolidWorks. So here is the main navigating window. I can see here that some of the changes has already made by the software to adjust and to facilitate the equipments and the tools that are going to be used. Here we can see that SolidWorks are already classified most of its tools into some of categories, we can say, or some of tabs. As we can here we see the features, we see the sketch, evaluation, and we can add another, like the add-ins, we can add another categories to be used according to our project. So if I'm working with the simulation, I will add the simulation tab. If I'm working with redundant testing, I will add the package of the redundant testing from the software. But so far, I will only use these three main tabs. So the most important one and the basic one is the sketch. Okay, and before to go what is inside the sketch, I want to explain a little bit about this panel at the left side of the window. At the left side of the window, this panel will contain the history, and I mean by the history, all the designs and every line, every point, every object that I made will be listed here at the history. So when I delete something, I want to go back again and search for it, I will go for the history. For the sensors, it's advanced. I will not talk about it. and also the annotations. We will talk about the materials. After we completing design an object, we need to do some kind of assigning material. Like I'm designing a chair. I want to specify is that chair is made of wood or it's made of steel or made of aluminum. It depends on my design, and based on this material I can do the mechanical testings, and these testings will be varied according to this material. So as we can see, if the material is aluminum, the center of mass will be sorry, not the center of mass. The weight of the weight of the chair will be different from the chair weight if the material was stainless steel or copper. As we can see, other things inside the simulation, when I do simulation for bending or for tensile testing, these the values will vary based on many factors. One of them is the type of material that has been used. As I told you before, in any object, we call it 3D object. And this means that the object has three main dimensions. So when I talk about, if I want to specify any object like this remote, if I want to specify the remote, I will specify it as the width of the remote, the height of the remote, and the depth of the remote. So I have three dimensions. One dimension, I can say this is the x-axis of the dimensions of the object, this is the y dimension of the object, and this one is the z dimension of the object. So if I want to draw this remote control, I will go from the top. Normally this one will be the top plane. Let's imagine that I have a paper. I will put a paper here or a plane. I will call it the top plane because I see when I observe the plane from the top. So I will call it top plane. I will come from this side to observe this plane, and I will call it evaluation plane, or I will call it frontal view because I'm seeing it from the front. And this one will call side view or right or left view based on the way that I'm seeing this object. So as we can see here, to allow me to design, these planes are already made for me as an engineer to specify which is the point or which plane or which surface that is going to be the first surface that I'm going to be that I'm going to draw or I'm going to design, because it will be harder sometimes if I want to design an object from the side, or sometimes it will be hard for me to start designing from the front view. So I will use the top view. So as we can see, for engineers it varies, and for the designers who are using CAD softwares it varies. Some of them will prefer to use the top plane to start his sketch, and the other one will say no, there's kind of lot of details inside the top plane, so I will go for the side plane before I start drawing from the top plane. So as we can see here, if we want to start the design of the object, we will go first and we will select a plane. So for this time I will use the front plane, and when I select for one click, I will click for one time, I will see a small tab appear here. The first one is a sketch. This will allow me to go inside the plane to start drawing, and that's, we can consider it as open the page. If I have a note or I have a drawing or I have a sketchbook, I will open the page. This is opening the page to start drawing. This is to show if sometimes if I want to design complex objects, sometimes I want to hide some of the planes. So I will do the hide icon here to hide it. We will see this in details as far as we go. So the first thing I will start to do is selecting the frontal plane, and after that I will use sketch. This will take me directly to the frontal plane. Okay, is everything is clear as far so far? Is there any kind of questions? Anything want me to repeat it? Hello? All good so far. Okay, we'll continue. So the first thing, we will try to get the tools. If I want to go out from the sketch after finishing, I will go from exit here, or I will take the exit here. Don't use the X. The X will take you out and will destroy everything that you already done inside your sketch. So don't use it. I don't recommend to use this one until the end. After you save everything, you can use it. Otherwise, don't use it. It's the same as this one, is this X or this one, and this will take you directly out of your design. So the first, here we can say the basic tools that we are going to use. These are the most tools that will be used inside SolidWorks from the beginning to the advanced mode. It will be the most used tools in SolidWorks. As we can see here, that each tool has a small arrow on the right. This kind of arrow will give me more specifications about the tool. So if I select the line, I can draw the line from any part of the design like this. Okay, and if I want to go out the line command, I will just select escape. Escape is in the keyboard at the top left corner. But if I want to use another type of lines, like a middle line, sometimes when I draw an object, I need to consider drawing a middle line. This one is the middle line. That whenever I will go to, sorry, this is one of the notes. Go midpoint. If I select here and I go for one side, it will go with the same length to the other side. As far as I go, it will be the same from a center point to two different edges, like this. After that, we have something called the center line. Center line, usually I use it to let's say to divide my objects. Something won't be a real line, but it's like a construction line, some guidance line for me to do some kind of complex drawings. Like if I want to talk like I want to make a line from this side to this side, just to determine that this is a point of a midpoint or the end of a certain design, this will be the right um, command to be used. If I want to delete this, I have two different options. I can select the left mouse, okay, the left click on my mouse and go to the left. Select and drag to the left. This one will select any line that attached to the box that it made. This is a green box. Any line is touched by this box will be selected. The other won't be selected. But if I use the another selection, which is clicking and dragging to the other side, what I will see that no one was selected, because this kind of selection, I need to select a line totally. So this one will be the only one that's selected. This is the difference. This is one by touch, and this other selection is by covering the whole line. So if I want just to delete this, I will select this and I will press delete, or I can come from here and say delete for certain lines. And this kind, maybe I can use by selecting using the right click on the mouse and select delete, and from here I can do delete again, or I can select all and delete at once. Okay, for the other ones, I have the circle. Here is the type of circle that I will draw a circle. This one called the center line circle. I have another kind of circles like the circles between 3 points. I will define the first point, I'll define the second point, and I will define the third point. So now I defined another circle with another method, which is a 3 points circle. I have several types of rectangles. So I have this one is edge to edge rectangle. I will specify the first angle and then the second angle, okay, which are on the opposite side of each other, okay. They are not in the same line or parallel to each other, but they will be an opposite to each other. Okay. I have another. Okay, for the rectangles, I have a center point rectangle, which is almost the same as the center point circle. I will define a center point, and I will go for one of the edges, the right and the left. If I want to make a parallelogram, I will select the first point, the second point, and after that, I will select the third point. Other one, I want to make like a center with 2 points. This is the first point, and this is the second point, and all these kinds of rectangles will be used based on the application that I want it to be used for. We have something called, if I want to draw a triangle, if I want to draw a pentagon, hexagon, octagon, any kind of shapes that's besides the circle and besides the triangle or the rectangle, sorry, I will use the polygons. These polygons will allow me to define how many sides to be designed. Like if I want a triangle, I will say I want 3 sides, okay, and I will define the center of this rectangle and the top or one of its points, like this. This kind, another kind of the designs that I will see. I will define if the circle, you can see here as it's shown on the left side that there is an inscribed circle and a circumscribed circle. Inscribed circle, that the main definition of the shape is by selecting an inner circle within the selected shape. For the other shapes that we used, and it mainly sometimes it's been used in some of the designs, it's not crucial, but it's usable, and it's kind of that you as an engineer or in advanced application, this one will be beneficial for you. So if I select the outer, as you can see, sorry, I haven't changed, you can see that the circle is for the outer edges, not within the edges, but outer for the outer points. It will select the points. So the shape will be defined by its outer points, not by its inner lines or inner edges. If I want to change, use the, like if I want to design a polygon or some kind of the polygons, let's say that I want to design a pentagon, I will go for 5. So it will be 5 edges, as I can see here, and as many edges as you can see. If you want 8, 12, 15, 7, whatever you want, you can find it from the polygon. So these are the most important designs, which is the polygons, the triangles, rectangles, and the circles. These are the most important, and these what are really important to design in mechanical engineering. Sometimes they're using SolidWorks to design some kind of complex surfaces. They will use other commands like the spline. Spline is about is to draw curved lines. So I will decide the first point. This is the second point, and after that I can go for splines, which is it's irregular bending of the line. So I can say that if I want to design a surface like a wave, spleen will be the best choice for me to design this kind of surfaces. So far, so good, guys. Okay. Any questions? Okay, let's continue. Let's take this out. Okay, I had a problem here, but all solved. It's okay. Sorry for this. Okay. So for these most important tools for the mechanical design, okay, let's carry on with this. The other tools will be like the slot. This will be used for engineering. If I want to make two objects to be attached to each other, we have something called mechanical slots inside the designs. And here I have to select the distance between the first curve and the second curve. And it will be like this. It's like a type C slots for the type C chargers. This is called mechanical slots that will be used for a long time, and we can use it sometimes when we want to design a curved surfaces. So what I want to say now is that you already learned how to design basic shapes. And what you want to know is that all basic shapes are made from basic, all complex shapes are made from basic shapes. So any hard or any complex design that you are interested of is just mainly based on a combination of this kind of basic shapes. It's a combination of rectangles with circle, combination of rectangle with another rectangle, a combination of a polygon with rectangle, and all these kind of designs are going to be shown basically that is based from small basic and we can say elementary kind of shapes. I have one more thing to talk as a beginning. and after that we will start to go for an example. If I want to design a center triangle like this one, and now I want to specify the dimensions. First of all, before I start to talk about the dimensions, whenever you start to design, you will go to the lower right side of the screen. You will find this kind of symbols, MMGS or CGS. This kind of uh, the international measuring system, the IS, or I can use the Gaussian system of measurements, or I can use the British system of measurements. So if I want to design using millimeters, gram per second, I will use the mmgs. If I want to use the pounds and the lps and seconds, I will use the inches one, inch pound second, which is the British system. If I want to use the Gaussian, I will use the centimeter. So this kind has to be specified before starting any design of your own, based on the requirements of your customer, or based on the requirements of the assignments that you are going to do. So after that, after I completed this design, what I will do is to use this tool. It's called the Smart Dimensioning tool. The Smart Dimensioning tool is a tool that will be used to determine the length, or we can see the dimension of each edge. So I can say that when I select, I will see that it's 473.94 centimeters. For this one, I will change by adding some values. I will say like I want it to be 500 millimeters. So now it's 500 millimeters. If you want to focus here, you will see that this line changed from blue to black. And this means that these two lines are fully specified, are fully determined. Because just like that, just think that your design is on the space. You have to fix it on a specific place to be determined. So this one, I already determined that the center point of this triangle rectangle will be at the center of my design, and the edges will be at a distance of 500 from each other, while the center point will be exactly on the middle. So they turn to a black, and this means to you that this shape is fully defined. If I want to, as you can see here, are still blue. This edge and this edge are still blue. So if I want to specify the width as 200, for example, it will be black, and this means that my whole design is now fully determined. This is what I call it a 2D design. If I want to design another, like if I want to design like a basic spoon, or maybe a basic circle at the end, I can just go to the circle command, selecting center point circle, and I come to any point. Let's say that I want to draw it at the midpoint here. See, when you hover over any line, you will see a small yellow dot appears here. This dot is, or this point will specify the midpoint of this line. So I will use the midpoint of this line, and I will draw a circle like this. As I can see, I have specified the radius of this circle, and this circle has been also identified that is at the distance, its center, it's at the distance of 250, which is the half of this distance. So it's fully defined. Now, if I want to convert this design from 2D into a 3D design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to features. As you can see here at the top left side of the window or the screen, I can see the features. And the features mean the object. If you want to transfer anything from 2D into a 3D, you have to change it by changing or made it an object. And making an object is by boosting this up or by creating, like if I'm using kind of paste like that we use when we were children to make any kind of objects. Uh, we can use this kind to build up the objects or creating a 3D object from a 2D design. This can be clearly identified by going to the features panel here, and we can see that from the feature panel we see that almost all the features are disabled. Why those commands or why those tools are disabled? Because we are only having a 2D design. We want now to create a 3D object to to be allowed to use this kind of tools. But I can see that I have the extrude boss. What's meaning by extrude boss? Extrude boss is by adding material within the edges or within the boundaries of the design that I have. So I will add material. This material will add normally. What I mean by normally is orthogonally. So I have this sketch here and I will add the materials orthogonally to this design. So I will go to extrude. As I can see, it's already changed to a 3D. And I have to identify, because I have several boundaries now. I have this first boundary, I have this the second boundary, and I have the third boundary. And I have to specify which boundaries that I want to select to be extruded. So I will select this boundary, and I will select the other boundary and the third boundary. And from this, I will get a 3D. As you can see, there is a thickness that has been added up to my design to identify the third dimension. As I can see now, I have another tab opened for me to specify the thickness of this object. So I will consider that my object is 25 millimeters in thickness. I will select enter. I can see that the thickness of this object has been increased. I will select or I will tackle correct this, the green check, and now I have my first 3D design. I want to ask you a question. Do you have SolidWorks in your computers right now? Please answer. I want to say if you have SolidWorks in your computers.
Yes, we have them, yeah.
Anyone doesn't have the SolidWorks software in his computer? Okay, as long as everyone has software, this will be okay. Great. May I ask who is totally beginner? Are you all beginner or can I go faster? If I have an absolute beginner, please say that you are absolute beginner. Can everyone hear me, or is there a kind of problem with the connection?
Yes, yes, Abdullah, we can hear you.
Okay,
I think Abdullah, it's better to continue, just like
okay.
this.
I will continue. Okay, so after I made the 3D object, I can see now from my panel above here, I can see that a lot of new tools has been added to my panel, and I can do a lot of extra work on my object because I have a 3D objects right now. So I can do the extrude cut, which means cutting through an object, and I have something called the hole wizard. This hole wizard will give me a standardized holes. What I mean by standardized holes is kind of holes that is already approved by the international design services. So when I tell you to have an ASCII of 265 whole, it will be the same in the whole world. So if you don't want to do this design manually, I recommend you to go to the whole wizard. What I mean by the whole wizard, it will open um, a new tab for me here at the left, and I can see that I have these kinds of holes. This kind of holes for screws, different kind of screws. This one for rod. I mean by rod is just a small of metal sheet, and I have a kind of double screwed, and I have other kind of screws like the polygons with a polygons head. So if I want to do that, I will just select. I have several standards here. I have ANSI inches. This is very important for designing for the United States of America and the UK. And I have the ANSI metric. ANSI metric is the international system for all for the rest of the world, despite the United States and the UK. And I have several kind of standards, but the most important for us is the asymmetric. So after the designing, I will see that I want the standard to be the asymmetric, and I have the type. I have a lot of type based on your design and based what you are asked to do. You will select one of these types. For me, I will leave it as the hex bullet, and I will select the first kind of holes. And to specify now, if I want to cut through the whole object, if I wanted to start from this face and end up at the second face or on the other side, I will use through all. If I want it until some vertex or some line exactly, I will select this. Up to next means I can specify up to next surface, up to next angle, up to next vertical line, anything that can be defined under the next option. To other surface, I have maybe I have another design here, and I want to cut through one or two different surfaces until an exact surface that will stop the process. So I will select this hole we already selected, and we have to select the object. Now I want to go to the position, and I will select in 3D. As I can see here, whenever I want to put this hole, I will just click. And I can see that I can add more and more holes. Let's take another one on the other side and click, check. You can see that a standard hole has been already made for me. And I can go for standard hole and go for the sketch and specify if I want to add more specifications. Like if I want to go for the surface and I want to make them completely aligned, I can just select this hole. Oh, there's a line. I don't want this line. As you can see that these holes are not aligned together. What I will do is going back to the sketch again and making a center line which will specify the center point for me. It has to be from this. No, sorry. So if I want to do them in one line, I have to do the center line before and adjust this. And I will show you later how to do it because I need to erase these holes before and then do the designs again. But for now, as we can see that we have something called standard holes. And again, we can make another hole by just getting out of this object. We can go to features again. We can go again to the wizard. If I want to select this type of holes, and I will make the position and will say that we need it. I will make it exactly here to see the differences. So I want to know now what are the differences between these two. As you can see, this one is about a cylinder with a wider dimension or wider range that will go for some deep inside. Then I have another cylinder to cut through the whole object. For this one, it will be a circle, and then it will be go deeply inside with an angle. So I'm trying to, it's like making like a sink or making like a small triangular angle between the outer circle and the inner circle. Then it will be the same cylinder that will cut through the whole object. Something else that we will talk about is the fillet. And what is the meaning of fillet? For fillet is something that will polish the edges. I have the edges like this one. This edge will result from a 90-degree differences between the first surface and the second surface. And if I want these edges to be taken out or to be polished, so this kind of edges won't affect my design. If you are a mechanical engineer, you will know definitely that these edges are representing the most weaknesses of any object, and this kind of edges will allow corrosion. So if I want, as an engineer, to take out these edges, I will go to the fillet, I will select the fillet, and I will determine the dimension or exactly the radius of this fillet. I will make it as 0.5 for now, and I will select this edge. As I can see here that there is a small fillet here, I can increase it. Oh, no, let's increase by 10. Let's say 2. You can see that it's already increased. And I can say here that it became polished and there is no kind of hard edge the side. You can see the differences between this edge and this filleted edge. Okay, if it was our Arabs, I think if you continue explaining in Arabic will be better. Oh, I haven't thought that my English is too bad. But if you're الكل عرب هنا, is there someone who can't speak Arabic?
بس
كلنا اعتقد هنا كلنا اليمنيين.
بس يا عبد الله هذه المحاضرة هي مسجلة وقد كنا في البداية إنها الكل الأجانب، وفي معنا الآن ناس بس ما قد دخلوش.
أنا قصدي دام إنه أغلبنا عرب هنا حاليا، فيفضل إنه يكمل بشير عشان نفهم بشكل أفضل يعني. أما الإنجليزي ما شاء الله تبارك الله يعني ما يحتاج لك.
طيب في الستريم في ناس من خارج غير عرب؟
بس هي المحاضرة هي مسجلة، ففي ناس عادهم بيدخلوا، أنا ما كتبنا إنها بتكون بالإنجليزي.
إذا أنا أعتذر يا شباب، ضروري نكمل بالإنجليزي.
يا عبد الله تقدر تعيد آخر خطوة حق الفلت هذه أنا ما فهمتهاش.
Okay, I will explain again. As you can see, for the one who asked for the about the fillet, as we can see, any edge here, it will be a 90-degree edge, and this edge, just imagine that this edge is you have an accident or you have a fallen object to the ground. This kind of edges will definitely harm you, or will definitely harm the other object, because there's kind of I can't see acute angle, but there's kind of angle or kind of an interface between two different alignment of the same object. So this kind of edges, in any mechanical engineer who already studied engineering, mechanical engineering specifically, they will tell you that all edges, whether they're acute or 90-degree angle, they will affect the design because they are considered as a weak point. For me as a designer, I'm doing fillet for two different things. The first one is to reduce these weaknesses that is made by the angle, and the second one is to reduce the hardness of the edge. As you can see, if I have an example of something, okay. You can see this stapler here. For the stapler, you will find that it's a 90-degree edge. If I hit myself with this 90-degree edge, it will be harmful, okay? But if I do some kind of fillet to be like this remote control, as you can see, there's kind of fillet here. It's curved. So this curve, if I hit myself with the same place, it will be less, it won't be harmful as a 90-degree edge. So this kind, for this purpose, we are using the fillet to reduce any harmness for the customer and to increase the dynamic properties of the object. As you can, if you remember the old cars, you will find a lot of this kind of 90-degree edges. These kind of 90-degree edges or another kind of edges will reduce the dynamic properties of the whole system or the whole car. So for new and modern designs of the cars, you will find it's more curvy. And if you are more interested in dynamics or aerodynamics, you will find that most of all new trends in designs, they are focusing on what? Are focusing on making a curved designs to increase the dynamic influence of the objects against the air or against any fluids. Is that clear? So for me, in SolidWorks, when I do the fillet, I will go to here, to this tool. It's called Fillet. I will select the fillet. After selecting the fillet, this window will appear. And after this window is appear, I can adjust the radius, because the fillet is about making the 90-degree angle or the curved angle into more circular shape. So I will define the radius. I will say that the radius is 3 this time, or let's make it 4 so we can see the differences. And I will select yes, but I haven't selected which edge. So I will go to the edge and I will select this edge. And when I select the edge, I can see that there is preferences, or some, we can say that a preview that will show me that what it will happen and how it's going to be appear after I complete the command. And if I want to add another surface, I will just select the other edge, and I have two filleted edges. And because I have some kind of symmetry or some kind of connected lines, it will go for the whole top layer or the whole surface. And when I select check, I will see that this curve or this fillet is smaller than this fillet. And that's because I did 2 for this one and I did 4 for the other fillet. Is that okay? Is that clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, understood. Yes, very, very clear.
Okay, let's go to the other topic or other, or let's say other tool. Now, I think this enough for talking about tools so far. So anyone is beginner or just started the SolidWorks will learn from this. And now we will talk about how we can view our objects. Okay, I'm Arabic as well. Oh, what's that? Okay. Now, if I want to have some kind of customer who told me that I want to go through this object, I want to see what is inside, I want you to show me how exactly these holes are viewed, what are you going to do? In this part of the lecture, the coming parts, I will take a break if you don't mind. I will talk about how we can describe and how we can show the inner part of an object. So I think I will have a break for 5 minutes and I will come back to you. Okay, guys, I'll come back to you again to continue our lecture on SolidWorks basic design. And if everyone is here, we can continue. Okay, so now we will talk about these different tools that it's located at the middle of the SolidWorks main window. As we can see here that we have this zoom to fit. What's the meaning by zoom to fit? Just imagine that while you are trying to design several objects at the same time, or you went inside an object and you didn't know where are you exactly, you can just click this one to take you back to the original view and where you can see the whole object again. So if let's say that for a reason or another you went so far so you don't know where is the object right now, you can just simply select zoom to fit and you will go back again to the best view of your object. If you want to orient, or if you want to go through your design and see from different kind of angles, you can just select the space. Select the space. It will give you this, maybe we can say a cube. From this cube, you can select this view. It will take you to this view. If I select the cube again, and I say that I want to see it from the top, so this is kind of a view that is allowable by SolidWorks. I want to say it from the top right. So this is the top right. And I can go through the whole design using this one. And sometimes when I use a surface for designing or for sketching, I can select this surface, and after that I select the space again, and I will see a small box is opened here. This box will show me all the possible views of this object, and the most important one is normal 2. Normal 2. If you are interested, or some kind of engineers who like to memorize the short keys, you can just select Control 8. And from this it will take me normal 2. And I said normal here in designing means orthogonal 2, and orthogonal means a 90-degree. Okay, so if I want to go and zoom in a specific place, I want to zoom to this hole directly, I can either use in my mouse here, I can use the screw forward or backward, and I have to select the place. I have to put the mouse, the cursor of the mouse at the point that I want to zoom in, and by that I will zoom into it. Other thing, if I want to zoom to a specific area, I can select this one, zoom to area. I can select the area and it will zoom to the area directly. If I want to zoom more, I will zoom more into this specific area. Previous view, as I told you, we can make another zoom in. Then I will select, this is my previous view, and this is my previous of all previous views. So I can go back each time. It's like Control Z. When you do something and you do Control Z, it will take you one step behind. This one is for the view. If you have a view and you come closer as zoom in or zooming out, and you want to go to the same point of the view that you were before, you can just select zoom out. Now let's come to one of the most important tools that is being used for explaining and showing ideas, especially when I have complex shapes with internal designs. So if I have like kind of box or kind of sphere with internal design, and I want to show the customer like the thickness of this box, or I want to show the customer or the lecturer what is inside this design, I will use the section view. Sectional view can be identified by selecting the plane. This one already selected the top plane. I don't want to select the top plane. I can change the plane from the section. So I can make section and I can make several sections. So let's go firstly with the one section. So for the one section, I want to go from the side. Or let's say I want to go from the other side. And after that, I will adjust the section. The section is mean like if you have sandwich or if you have a cake and you slice this cake from a point, you decide to slice a cake from a certain plane or a certain list of points, you will do a slice and you will show me what is inside this cross-sectional view. And you can attach this one, or to hold the arrow and specify to what extent you want to make the cross section. So if I want to show the cross sectional view, and I mean by cross sectional is if I have this view, as we can as I told you before, I have the top plane, which is the top view, and I have the frontal view and the side view. If I want to go inside, I cut from here and from the middle, and I show you what is really inside. This is called a cross-sectional view. So for cross-sectional view, I will drag and drop. I'll drag the arrow until I see that this is the point. Okay, and I will select yes. So I will select this surface in space normal to, and I can say now you can see the differences. Can you see the differences between these two standard holes that has been made previously in our design? This kind of as I told you, circulated or cylindrical screw with a cylindrical head, and this one is with what we can see. It's normally named Luft, I think. It's not Luft. It's called almost forget its name. Whatever. Yeah, drafted plane. This one is drafted when I have a circle and another circle with an increment or decrement in the angle between them. I call this one is drafted surface. So I have now the normal cylindrical screw, and I have another one cylindrical hole. Sorry, not screw. And the other one is having a drafted screw. To go back, I will just click again, and I will go back to the same view as I had before. This one is the view organization. View organization is the same as I told you that we have to select the space. It's the same thing. You can do it here manually using the mouse. Okay, in some designs I have to show the customer, or even sometimes I want to see if there's kind of intersections inside my design, and I want to specify the inner lines between the outer shell, the inner shell, and between the other objects inside my design if I have a complex design. So I have different kind of views that I can use as an engineer to see my object. So for this object, I can see clearly that each line, each outer line or viewed line, these lines are viewed line, because if I have the object Okay, if I have the object, real object in my hand, I can specify these edges. I can see them by a naked eye. So this kind is called a viewable lines, or sometimes they call an outer lines that can be identified easily by naked eye. So for another representation of my design or this display style, I can say that I don't want to see these edges. I want it to be totally plain like this. This kind of views will show me my design in, we can see, in more realistic style or in more realistic view, but a lot of details will be missed. For me as a designer, I don't want to miss this kind of details about the lines, especially the outer lines. But if I want to go to more deeply and get more details, I can select the drawing view. This kind, like if I want to make a sketch or I want to see the details without any colors, so I will go for this type of views. The other view is allowing me to see the inner lines. These are the most important things. Sometimes I want to see how really the whole is designed. So I can see there is a black bold line or circle at the top. This is showing me something, that this line is a true line, outer line. And I have dotted lines. These dotted lines are representing the hidden lines. What meaning by hidden lines are those lines who are really in the designs but cannot be seen within a naked eye. So from the surface, if I'm seeing the surface, I know that there's kind of line and there's kind of boundaries inside my design. However, I don't expect to explain the exact shape of these lines inside the object, because I cannot see them by my naked eye. I have to make a view, the designer, or making a cross-sectional view, as I told you before. If I want to go for more details, and for this time I will not identify if these are true lines or hidden lines, the fourth one will be my select, and definitely for sure I can show you that this kind of view will not be used, because this kind of view will just make it harder for you to understand your object. So for me now, if I come and see the object, for now I will say, oh, where is the top? Am I in the top or in the bottom? This kind of illusion that is made by the design. I can't really specify which are the true lines and which are the hidden lines. For this kind, if you want to show more details, like if you want to make a grid or something, you will not use it. And after that, I need to see how to edit the colors. The colors, not the material. So we have, as I told you before, here we have the materials. But now I want to edit the appearances. What's the meaning of the appearances? That this kind of object, I want to make it looks like a wood, but the material is not wood. Sometimes you can make a leather that looks like a wood. Just make the appearances. It's like a painting or a kind of cover for my object to look better, or to look easier for the customer or for the lecturer to identify the object. So when I come to appearances, I will select what kind of appearances that I'm looking for. You can go to appearances here at the top right, and see the drop down menu, and you will have a lot. There is a plastic metal. For the second time, this is not material, this is an appearances. So if you are selecting plastic, it won't make a plastic object, it will just make you an appearance of a plastic object. If you want to change the material, you can change it from what I told you before, and we will do it again and again later. For now, I can select another drop down menu, and I will select the kind of plastic that I want. So I have this kind is high gloss. I can see when I selected, I can say that it's already changed. If I want this kind of red, yellow, whatever kind of plastic. And if I want textured, like textured plastic, it will be one of these. Besides plastics, I can select glass. So as you can see, it's glass, so it's transparent, that I can see all the objects inside, and I can see easily the inner parts. Can change also the color. For the glass, also I have rubber if I want to make it as a rubber or in a stone, term of a stone. So it's like it's become like a granite stone, and based on your recommendations from the customer or the one you are designing for, they will ask you for specific appearances that can be selected from here. Even sometimes you can select fabric, the fabric like the jeans, the normal clothes. So you can select whatever you want. It's like clothes, okay. It's like some kind of jeans here. So you can adjust, but you will not change the material. Okay, the question is now, if I want to select specific surfaces of my design for making the colors. So I want to make specific colors for my design for specific surfaces. So as we can see here, we will go to appearances again, and this time I will select appearances. I will go here, I will delete the part, and from the left side I can see that here is select part. So whenever I change any color or any material for the coverage, will select the whole part, or I can just select by surfaces. So if I select this surface, I can just go and change its color. So as you can see that it's already changed its color by just selecting, and I can select another kind of surfaces. If I want this surface, I can just go directly to appearances again, and this time I can select, let's say I want it to be red color. This surface also, this surface, as you can see here. So all clear for changing the colors for the objects and for the surfaces. If something is not clear, please let me know. All clear, okay. The last one is the scene. If you want to put your object in an environment appearances that is you just don't want to put it in this white background. You want to change the background to another background. So from here you have several views that can be used. So I can use as a plain white. We can change it to an urban background. If you're designing a truck or something and you want to put it in front of a building, so you can do it like this. It's not recommended, and it's look like it looks not real, but sometimes if you want to put some kind of reality to your design, you will go for this background. For me, I prefer just the plain white or the other one, which is the standard one. For view settings, this kind of view settings, if you want to change the alignment of your window, you will use it. If you have another screen, sometimes when you design a lot of objects, you will go for multiple screens. That will help you during your designing process. You will use this kind of layout settings or view settings. So far, we discussed the 2D and basic 3D. 3D will be explained tomorrow in details for lots of other tools and how we can deal with this kind of tools. But for now, I want to go back to the 2D and design again. But for this time, we want to go for designs that are more complex. And as we go back, I want to explain something. If you already designed something and you want to take it out or you want to delete it, what are you going to do? You will go to the layout here and you will select, like, I want to take out the fillet. So I will select by the right cursor here in the mouse. I will select delete. And here I will delete the whole feature. I will delete the wizards that I already have, the other wizard, and I will delete something here, but it won't delete everything. It will delete the 3D or the feature. As you can see that the first time we draw something, then we make the feature. First, we will delete the feature and we will be left with the sketch. So if I want to go back to the sketch, I will select the sketch again and I will have edit sketch. So I will select edit sketch and I will go orthogonally or normally to my design again. Last time when we design, what we have done is when we use the features and extrude boss, we found that we have 3 different like boundaries. But for most of the time, this kind of boundaries will affect my designs later. So when I want to do an extrude, I have to take out all the unnecessary intersections. So I came up with one and only one boundary to cover all. And this can be done using a specific and a wonderful tool is called trim. What trim is doing is like taking every line that is intersected between 2 points. So I can easily clear my design and make everything like a one boundary. So I will come back again to the normal mode and I will select from sketch because it's 2D. I will take the trim entities. And I have a lot of specifications for the trim entity, but I will choose the first one, which is the power trim. Power trim is like the automatic car. I don't need to go for gears and take a lot of time learning how to do it. I will take the power, which is basically will take any line between 2 points. So I have to take this curve. This curve is between this first point and this second point, and I have intersection. One is here and the other one is here. So what I will do is clicking by the left of the mouse and keep pressing on the left key of the mouse and go. As you can see, any line that lies between 2 points will be removed. This curve will be totally removed. But this one, I have another segments of the lines, so I have to take them manually. So I don't have to move my finger from the left click of the mouse, and I have to go just by hovering over any intersection an intersected line, it will definitely be deleted. So now I have one whole object that we can extrude it as once. So whenever I select extrude, it will be selected and extruded directly without selecting the boundary or the territory. Is that clear, guys? Any questions so far? Is there any question about everything that I've explained so far? If you have any question, don't hesitate. If you don't, we will continue. Okay, let's go. We'll back again. And again, we will delete to come back to the normal mode. Sketch again, normal. Now, sometimes when I design, I need to make an offset. And do you know what's the meaning by offset? Offset is meaning the same written or the same drawn sketch, but with different dimensions. So I want to make the same design as this one. I have two ways to do this: either to make a triangle, a rectangle again, and then the circle, and take the trim tool and do all what I have done earlier again and again. But I have another things called entity offset, or offset of entities. This one is here at the top. You can see offset entities, and meaning of offset is making the same lines but in different place. So I can make, if I want to make like a hollow shape, okay, and I'll show you how to make a hollow shape. So I will select the offset entity. I will assign how much is the differences between the dimensions between the main design and my entity, my new entity, and I will explain it by 1 millimeters, or let's make it 2. Okay, so I will select. I can see here that another line, another object has been made. I can make it 5, so it can be much easier to be observed. So as you can see here, I made another design similar to my previous one with different dimensions in maybe 1 or 2 clicks. It's better than redesigning what I have done before, which will take up to 10 or 12 moves at that time. And now I can make a hollow shape by just make extrude boss for my object. It will be extruded, and I will select. I can see that I made a hollow shape. It's like an arc of a window or something. You can name it whatever you want. I will change plastic. Okay, that's much easier to be observed. As you can see, we just make an offset, and from the offset we made, this is that was my design. This one was my design, and this is my offset. If I want to go to the offset and change it again, I can go from here and select edit sketch. As you can see here, there's a 20. I can make it like, if I want to make it 200, I want to make it like 400. It will be like this. They will go out of the sketch. I changed the whole arc by just changing and edited the sketch. If I want to increase the extrude, I will go to the feature of the extruded boss, and select and click on it and go to edit features. I'll go for edit features and I will increase the extrude boss by 50, let's say 50 millimeters. And now I have a new object set up. So this was all about what we call it. Again, we will delete this one to go back to the sketch. And from the sketch, we will go select again. So as we can see that we already have the offset entity. Let's make another thing now. I will go to trim. I will cut this offset design, and I can see from point to point, I'll reduce everything. So done. I have the same designed in 2D again, and what I want to know to do now is making a mirror. So what is mirror actually, and what's the benefit of mirror? The benefit of mirror, if I done some kind of design on a side and I want to duplicate it around a specific line, I will use the mirror command. As I can see, as I can show you now, that if I draw a circle here, okay, and I want to repeat this circle in around or between or in between this line, what I will do is just going to the mirror entity. I will select the mirror entity. Here I can see entities to mirror. So I can select one or more objects to be mirrored. So I will select the circle here. Okay, and after that they said the mirror about, so it need the axis around the mirror. So I will go to the mirror and I will select the line, and as I can see, there's a similar circle has been generated within my design. Let's say that I have a polygon here, but I want to move this polygon from its place. I have something called move entities. This is the command for moving entities, and for moving entities I will just select the moving entities. I can see here entities to be moved or entities to move. I can select basically this entity to be moved, and after that I can even move it from a place to another place, or I can move it from X and Y position. This up to me, just to change the coordinates, and I want to recommend this, and you can change it from 2. So here it will see what is your start point. I will check this one as my start point, then I will just move whenever I want, and it will be changed. As you can see, I just change it. I can select the Control Z again, and again I will do moving entities. Moving entities, I already selected all the lines need to be moved. Then I will select, let's say that I need it from here, and we will go to another place. Is that clear? If I want to copy an entity, I have this design, I want to copy it, I will just select it. I have selected all, and I want to start from this point, and I have another object with the same dimensions, but I want to select it to be here. So I have already made another object by just copying my previous design. Another one is called the linear pattern and the circular pattern. So when I use pattern is sometimes if I want to make an object, and inside this object I want to make 9 holes. I don't have to go and draw 9 or 90 or sometimes I have to do like 50 holes inside one object. So I don't have to do that manually because it's time consuming and a lot of effort will be made for this. So I have something called linear pattern. So if I have this circle here and I want to make 20 other circles at the same line, what I'm going to do is going to the linear sketch pattern. I will select the x-axis. Let's say this one is the x-axis. If I want it in one axis, if I want it in y-axis also, I can select a line, a parallel line to the axis to be used. I can move these directions here. Okay. So now I have 2 axes. What is the difference between is 10 millimeters. I can increase it to 20 or let's say to 60 millimeters between each circle. And here are the same is the same thing for the second direction. But I need it to be like 30 was reducing. So now I have all these lines, or sorry, these circles that can be designed using the pattern. And from here, sometimes I need to make a linear pattern, but this instant circle, I don't want to do it. So I can go here. There's some kind here at the bottom, there's something called instant, where is it? Instant to skip. So I will select instant to skip and I will select this circle. I don't want to move this circle. Okay, and I don't want to move this circle. So after that I can just select correct or check. So I have designed several circles with only one command. It's better than designing lots of circles at the same time. Another thing to do with the same idea of the linear pattern, I have the circular pattern, which deals with curved shapes. So for linear pattern, I will take the arrow beside it and I will select circular pattern with the same exact process that I have used, but this time I will select this curve. Okay, and the object, what is the object selected? I don't need this object, so it will be deleted. So I will select the object, which let's consider this circle to be the entity of the pattern. And I want delete. So the curve will be this, and my entities will be this circle. So as I can see that lots of circles are already made within the piece as a part of a greater circle like this. To be clearly shown, I will draw a smaller circle here. And I will do not a linear pattern, circular pattern. Circular pattern again. Inside this circle, I will draw another circle. And we'll escape it. Then we'll go for circular. And from this, I will delete this. I will select the curve, which will be this circle. I need this circle to be selected. So, yes, okay, the circle has been selected. There's kind of problem. I don't know what it is, so I will delete everything. Okay, let's do it again. I will do a circle here. I'll draw a circle. And inside this circle, I will draw another small circle within the bigger circle. And after that, I will go to circular pattern. I will select the pattern, okay, and the edited one. I need to have like 8 smaller circles inside, and as you can see, I have made those circles with a few clicks. So I think this is all things that will be covered for today. We made 3 hours because I expected a lot of questions to be made. And if you have any questions right now, I will answer you as far as I can. So any questions?
So guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
And features will be tomorrow, but it's the same concept. I can show you now. Okay, no problem. So again, we will do a feature for this one. As we can see here, I have an object, so I want to do it in features. So for features, first I will select this surface. I will draw a circle here, and I will do an extrude cut. So I have a new circle now. From features, I have the linear pattern, and here the circular pattern again. I want to select the direction, so I will go for the direction and select the edge of the circle. After that, it will say the features, so I will go for the features from the panel here, and I will say the extrude cut. And after that, I will specify the angle between all of these circles, and voila, done. Any other questions? Haitham?
Yes.
I think no more questions, or is there any kind of problem with the connection?
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
Is there any problem with the connection, because I can't see any questions?
No, all clear, all clear.
Okay.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, so for now, if you want exercises to be made and reviewed by me until tomorrow, I can send them to Haitham, and he will contact you. So you want me to give you designs to be made and reviewed by me as the first thing tomorrow before starting our new lesson? Yes, it will be good. Okay. Okay, so tonight it will be sent through ISS-Yemen. I will send them some kind of sketches that you can make them in 2D. I don't want 3D designs. Just make them in 2D. And tomorrow, the first thing that we will discuss before the lecture will be those designs. So I think this is all what we have for the tentative for today. Hopefully tomorrow it will be more challenging and a lot of features will be explored. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Abdullah. Thanks all for joining. And we will continue, inshallah, tomorrow.